The massive crystal dome of the Galactic Council chambers sparkled under the light of three suns. Inside, thousands of alien representatives from across the galaxy sat in circular rows that reached toward the ceiling. Usually, these sessions were quiet and organized. Today was different. They're going where? Ambassador Xitel's color-shifting scales turned pale blue with fear. The holographic display in the center of the chamber showed a fleet of sharp-edged warships moving through space. Senior analyst Venray adjusted her floating datapad and spoke clearly. The Vorkath Empire's diplomatic fleet has changed course. They are heading toward the Sol system. Specifically, Earth. The chamber erupted in worried whispers. Some representatives were already packing their belongings, ready to evacuate to safer sectors. This cannot happen, Chital said, his scales now turning a deep purple of concern. Show them the footage. Show them why we've kept Earth in a restricted zone for the past 100 years. The holographic display changed. The chamber fell silent as images began to play. The first recording showed early humans, barely dressed in animal skins, working together to hunt creatures twice their size. Instead of running from the giant woolly mammoths, these small humans used carefully planned tactics, simple tools, and remarkable teamwork to take down their massive prey. Fast forward, Chital commanded. The images shifted rapidly. Humans invented the wheel, learned to work with metal, built increasingly complex machines. Then came their first powered flight. The representatives watched in stunned silence as humans went from basic flying machines to space rockets in less than 70 Earth years. That's impossible, someone in the chamber whispered. No species develops that fast. It gets worse, Chital said. The next images showed humans splitting the atom, harnessing nuclear power, and developing computers that became smaller and more powerful with each passing year. In just 3 centuries, they went from horse-drawn carriages to quantum computers. Our species took thousands of years for similar advances. The final images showed modern Earth, sprawling cities, advanced transportation systems, and the beginners of space colonization on their red neighbor planet, Mars. And now, Chital continued, his voice heavy with worry. The Vorkath think they can simply arrive at Earth and demand their alliance through intimidation. The same tactics they've used on 100 other worlds. The Vorkath don't understand what they're walking into, Venray added. They see Earth's current technology level and think they have the advantage. They don't realize that humans don't just adapt to new technology. They improve it. They find ways to use it that we never considered. The chamber grew quiet as the implications sank in. The Vorkath Empire, with their rigid thinking and traditional battle tactics, were about to meet a species that wrote stories about defeating more advanced aliens for fun. We must stop this, Chital decided. Prepare our fastest ship. I will personally intercept the Vorkath fleet. He turned to address the full council. If the Vorkath Empire involves Earth in this war, they won't just get the easy alliance they expect. They'll unlock something none of us are prepared for. Human innovation combined with advanced alien technology. As Title hurried toward the emergency shuttle bay, he remembered the final note in Earth's classification file. Warning. This species went from first powered flight to landing on their moon in just 66 years. Imagine what they could do with our technology in just 1 year. The fate of the galaxy now depended on reaching the Vorkath before they reached Earth. Keitel just hoped he wouldn't be too late. The Vorkath arrival was exactly as dramatic as they had planned it. 3 massive warships, each 20 kilometers long, appeared above Earth's major cities: New York, Beijing, and London. Their black hulls blocked out the sun, casting enormous shadows over the bustling cities below. It was meant to frighten humanity into submission. It didn't work quite as expected. Are they streaming this? Commander Zix of the Vorkath fleet asked in disbelief, watching the humans below. Instead of running in panic, thousands of humans stood in streets and parks, holding up their phones and cameras. Social media platforms exploded with live videos, scientific discussions, and memes about the alien ships. Within hours, Hashtag Space Neighbors and hashtag Alien Ship Design Challenge were trending worldwide. Sir, a Vorkath officer reported, we're detecting thousands of scanning devices directed at our ships. They appear to be studying us. In the United Nations emergency session, Earth's leaders gathered to address the situation. The Vorkath expected fear and arguments. Instead, they found unprecedented cooperation. Look at the energy readings from their propulsion system. Dr. Sarah Chen, Earth's leading physicist, pointed to her hastily assembled presentation. Their method of faster-than-light travel is fascinating, but I see at least 3 ways we could improve its efficiency. The Vorkath ambassador, Cathor, finally appeared as a giant hologram above each city. His 3-meter-tall image, covered in ceremonial armor, was meant to be intimidating. Humans immediately started analyzing the hologram technology and taking pictures for their social media accounts. People of Earth, Cathor announced in his most threatening voice, "We are the Vorkath Empire. Your planet stands at a crossroads. Join us as allies in our great conquest, or face the consequences. We possess weapons that can crack your planet in half." A young diplomat from New Zealand raised her hand during the transmission. "Excuse me, but could you explain how those planet-cracking weapons work? The scientific community would be very interested in the principles behind them. Also, is there a chance we could see one in action, perhaps on a smaller scale? Maybe on an uninhabited asteroid?" Cathor blinked his 4 eyes in confusion. This was not how first contact usually went. In NASA's main control room, engineers were already reverse engineering the Vorkath's communication systems based on the hologram transmission data. In Silicon Valley, tech companies began filing patents for potential applications of alien technology. At universities worldwide, scientists started writing research papers about the implications of Vorkath technology. "They're not afraid," Cathor told his command staff. "Why aren't they afraid?" A junior Vorkath analyst cleared her throat. "Sir, we've intercepted their global communications. They have thousands of stories, movies, and games about defeating alien invasions. They've been practicing for this, at least in their imagination." The situation got even more confusing when a small mechanical device bumped into one of their ships. It was a hastily launched satellite, carrying a simple message: "Welcome to Earth. We've set up a website for cultural exchange and technical collaboration. www.firstcontact.org. Please check out our FAQ section." In the Galactic Council's emergency ship racing toward Earth, Ambassador Xetal received the first reports. He read them with growing horror. The humans weren't intimidated by the Vorkath. They were excited. They saw the alien arrival not as a threat, but as an opportunity to learn, adapt, and innovate. "Faster," Xetal told his pilot. "We must reach them before the humans start suggesting improvements to Vorkath technology. Once they start that, there's no going back." But deep down, Xetal knew he was already too late. Humanity's greatest strength, their endless curiosity and creativity, had been awakened. The galaxy would never be the same. 3 weeks after the Vorkath arrival, Earth had changed in ways that amazed even the humans themselves. Former rival nations now worked together in ways that would have seemed impossible just a month ago. The United Earth Science Initiative had gone from an idea to reality in just days. "This can't be right," General Cathor said, staring at the report on his screen. "They've already taken apart one of our scout drones." His technical officer nodded nervously. "Yes, sir." The drone had a minor malfunction and made an emergency landing. By the time our recovery team arrived, the humans had already moved it to something they call MIT. They're calling it an engineering opportunity. In Massachusetts Institute of Technology's largest laboratory, hundreds of scientists and engineers from around the world worked in shifts around the clock. The drone had become the center of Earth's biggest collaborative research project. "Look at this power system," Dr. Rodriguez said, pointing to the drone's engine. "They're using quantum field manipulation, but their approach is so traditional. We could make it 30% more efficient by applying our recent breakthroughs in quantum mechanics. Across the globe, similar scenes played out. In Japan, a team had already improved the drone's navigation system. In India, computer scientists were rewriting the artificial intelligence to be more adaptable. In Nigeria, engineers had found a way to make the metal alloys stronger using locally developed techniques. The Vorkath watched in growing concern as humans shared their findings openly through something called peer review. Their species had taken centuries to develop these technologies. Humans were suggesting improvements after just weeks. In the Galactic Council observation post, Sheetal received endless reports of human progress. "They're adapting too fast," he told his superiors. "The humans have already started filing patents for hybrid technologies, combinations of their science and Vorkath systems." A small incident at the European Space Agency made things even more interesting. A Vorkath officer had accidentally left a datapad behind after a tense meeting. By the time he returned 10 minutes later, 3 different teams had copied its contents and begun translating the alien technical manuals. "Sir," a human diplomat approached Cathor during a formal meeting, "we have some suggestions about your ship's waste recycling system. We've developed some very efficient methods on our space station. Would you be interested in a technological exchange?" Cathor was speechless. No species had ever offered to improve Vorkath technology before. Most were too busy being intimidated. The humans didn't wait for answers. Universities worldwide began offering courses in xenotechnology integration. Children in science fairs presented projects based on alien principles. Garage inventors posted videos trying to recreate Vorkath devices with Earth materials. "It's not just their speed of learning," Sheetal reported to the council. "It's their way of thinking. Where we see finished technology, they see starting points. Where we follow rules, they ask, what if we try something new?" In a secured facility in Switzerland, a team of international scientists made the breakthrough that would change everything. They successfully combined Earth's quantum computing with Vorkath energy systems, creating something entirely new. "We should stop them," a council member suggested. Sheetal shook his head. "It's too late. They're not just learning anymore, they're innovating. And the truly frightening part, they're enjoying it." As if to prove his point, a notification appeared on every Vorkath ship. "Thank you for visiting Earth. We've just launched our first collaborative science platform. Would you like to join our Interstellar Innovation Challenge? First prize includes a fully improved version of your own technology." The galaxy was about to learn why the Council had wanted to keep Earth isolated. Humanity wasn't just ready for advanced technology. They were ready to reinvent it. The attack on Mars Colony 1 happened at dawn, Earth time. The Vorkath, frustrated by humanity's casual attitude toward their superiority, decided to teach them a lesson. They expected a quick surrender. They were wrong. "Sir," the young lieutenant's voice shook as she delivered the news to Cathor. "The humans, they're laughing." On every communication channel, Earth's response was the same. Finally, they could test their new innovations in real conditions. They called it Operation Welcome Party, and it was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Galactic Council observation team watched in amazement as Earth's defense fleet emerged from hidden bases on the moon. The ships looked strange, a hybrid of human and Vorkath technology, but with modifications that made the Council analysts scratch their heads in confusion. "What are those devices on their ships?" Sheetal asked, zooming in on the images. According to their public channels, his assistant reported, they're calling them space boomerangs. They've somehow combined their primitive projectile weapons with Vorkath energy shields. The battle for Mars lasted exactly 42 minutes. Earth's ships moved in ways that defied standard space combat tactics. Instead of meeting the Vorkath in traditional formation, they scattered like startled birds, only to regroup from impossible angles. They're using the gravity of Mars and its moons to change direction. A Vorkath commander realized too late. "That's not possible. Our navigation computers say those maneuvers can't work. But they did work. The humans had spent weeks rewriting Vorkath navigation software, adding what they called creative solutions. Their ships danced through space like they were performing a carefully planned show. Then came the space boomerangs. Launched from Earth ships, these devices splashed harmlessly against Vorkath energy shields. At first, the Vorkath laughed. Then the boomerangs turned around. Impossible, Cathor shouted as the devices slipped through their shields from behind. Shields only work in one direction. No one ever asked about the other direction. A human commander responded cheerfully over the open channel. We found that interesting. The Mars colony residents, instead of cowering in fear, had treated the attack like a science experiment. They recorded every detail of Vorkath weapon impacts on their upgraded shields, discussing possible improvements even as the battle raged. In the Galactic Council chamber, emergency alarms rang as data poured in. Humanity wasn't just defending. They were collecting combat data to improve their designs. Each minute of battle taught them more about Vorkath technology. Look at these readings, Sheetal said in horror. They're not trying to destroy the Vorkath ships. They're disabling them, to study them later. The battle ended when the last Vorkath ship found itself trapped in something the humans called a gravity net, a technology that hadn't existed 2 weeks ago. As Earth rescue ships approached to help the stranded Vorkath crews, they'd broadcast a simple message. Thanks for the combat practice. We've learned so much. Would you like to see our ideas for improving your weapon systems? In his command center, Cathor received a priority message from his superiors. The humans are far more dangerous than we thought. They don't just fight. They learn while fighting. But it was Earth's final message that truly showed how different they were. Instead of demands or threats, they sent an invitation. Join us for a post-battle technology exchange conference. We have some fascinating data to share. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their tactics. It was their endless enthusiasm for turning every situation, even combat, into an opportunity to learn and improve. 2 months after the Mars incident, the Vorkath Empire faced a situation they had never encountered in their 10,000 years of space warfare. Their enemy wasn't just fighting back. They were having fun doing it. They're calling it what? Cathor asked, staring at the latest report. Space tag, sir, his intelligence officer replied. The humans have turned our standard pursuit tactics into something they call a great chance to practice new maneuvers. Across the galaxy, Vorkath commanders watched in confusion as their carefully planned attacks were met with what humans called creative solutions. Traditional space combat had rules, patterns, and proper formations. Humans apparently never got that memo. In the Centauri sector, a Vorkath battle fleet found itself outmaneuvered by smaller Earth ships using something called submarine tactics in the dust clouds of a nebula. The humans had adapted their old underwater warfare techniques to space combat. But that's not how space battles work, protested a Vorkath admiral. Says who? Came the cheerful reply from the Earth captain. Space is just another ocean. A really big, three-dimensional one with different physics. Isn't it exciting? The Galactic Council observation team worked overtime trying to catalog humanity's unusual battle strategies. Humans took ideas from everywhere. Old war books, nature documentaries, and even children's games. They called it thinking outside the box, though no one could explain to the aliens what this mysterious box was or why thinking should be kept inside it. Look at this. Sheetal showed his colleagues footage of Earth's latest innovation. They've modified their cargo ships into what they call space aircraft carriers. They're launching smaller ships from inside bigger ones. But that's just copying what their insects do, a council scientist noted. Those are just space wasps. Exactly, Sheetal replied. They take ideas from everywhere. Their warriors study history, animals, sports, and games. Everything becomes a potential battle strategy. The Vorkath Empire, used to enemies who followed proper combat protocols, found themselves facing opponents who treated space warfare like a creative writing assignment. Earth ships would appear from impossible directions, using gravity assists from planets and stars in ways that made navigation computers freeze in confusion. In one memorable battle, Earth forces defeated a Vorkath fleet using what they called the Solar System Slingshot Special, a complicated maneuver involving the gravity of 3 different planets that their commander claimed to have learned from playing too many video games. "They're spreading these ideas," Cathor reported to his superiors. "Other species are starting to copy Earth's unusual tactics. Yesterday we saw a Centaurian fleet attempt something called a fake-out, a deceptive move humans apparently learned from their sports." The council chamber was in constant session now, watching as humanity's influence spread. Earth wasn't just fighting. They were changing how the entire galaxy thought about space combat. Their battle tactics were being studied and copied by species across the stars. "Sir," a junior analyst interrupted Cetal's thoughts. "Earth just announced they're opening a Galactic Defense Academy. They're offering free combat training to any species interested in creative tactical solutions." Scital watched the application numbers grow with growing concern. Hundreds of species were signing up, eager to learn humanity's unconventional approaches. "This is worse than we feared," he told the council. "Humanity isn't just winning battles, they're teaching the galaxy to think like them. And the truly scary part, everyone's starting to enjoy it." The newest Earth broadcast only confirmed his fears. They had announced an intergalactic battle tactics competition, complete with prizes for the most innovative strategies. The galaxy would never be the same. While the galaxy focused on Earth's unusual battle tactics, something far more interesting was happening in research centers around the planet. Regular citizens, not just military personnel, had been studying the Vorkath technology. And they had questions. Lots of questions. But why does it have to be so boring? Dr. Sarah Chen asked during an international science conference. She was looking at the standard designs for faster-than-light, FTL, travel used by every species in the galaxy. The Vorkath representatives in attendance blinked in confusion. Boring. This is the only way to travel between stars. Sarah pulled up a video of ocean waves. "Have you ever watched surfers? They use the wave's own energy to move. Now, what if we could do that with space itself?" In the Galactic Council observation room, Sheetal watched with growing concern as humans worldwide began sharing similar ideas. They weren't just studying alien technology. They were completely rethinking it. "Sir," his assistant reported, "they're calling it Project Cosmic Surf. They think they can ride gravitational waves between stars." "That's impossible," Sheetal said automatically. Then he remembered who they were dealing with. How far have they gotten? The answer came 3 days later. At a small testing facility in New Zealand, a team of scientists and engineers from 20 different countries activated their prototype. They had built it using parts from regular ships, modified Vorkath technology, and what they called creative mathematics. The test ship disappeared. The Vorkath sensors couldn't track it. The Galactic Council's advanced systems couldn't find it. Even Earth briefly lost contact. Then it reappeared, around Jupiter. "How?" Cathor demanded, watching the footage. "That distance should take hours to cover, even with our best FTL drives." The human response was typically enthusiastic. "We just caught a really good wave. Want to see how it works?" The explanation sessions that followed gave many alien scientists headaches. Humans had taken the basic principles of FTL travel and combined them with ideas from ocean surfing, Einstein's theories, and what they called that weird space-time wobble everyone else ignored. "It's like this," Dr. Chen explained to a confused audience. "Regular FTL drives push against space. We thought, why push when you can ride? Space is full of gravitational waves. We just needed to learn how to catch them." The implications were enormous. The new human drives used less energy, traveled faster, and were much more fun to operate. They called it wave-riding technology, and unlike the Vorkath, They were happy to share it. "We're offering free upgrades," Earth announced to the galaxy. "Why push your way through space when you can surf it?" In the council chamber, Sheetal watched as species after species requested the new human technology. Even some Vorkath ships were secretly installing it. "They've done it again," he told his superiors. "We thought they would copy our technology. Instead, they reinvented space travel itself." The final surprise came when Earth revealed their next project. They weren't just planning to surf gravitational waves, they wanted to create their own. "Think about it," an excited human scientist told the Galactic news networks. "If we can make our own waves in spacetime, we can build an interstellar highway system." As Scytl watched ships from across the galaxy line up for human technology upgrades, he realized something important. Humanity hadn't just joined the galactic community. They were redesigning it. "At least they can't make space travel any more unusual," a council member said hopefully. Then the humans announced their plans for space wave riding competitions, complete with style points for the most elegant maneuvers between stars. The galaxy would never travel the same way again. The Vorkath Empire had finally had enough. Their most advanced ships were now using human technology. Their crews were asking questions about thinking outside the box. And worst of all, someone had organized a space surfing competition right in the middle of their home system. "Deploy the Singularity Weapon," the Vorkath High Command ordered. It was their ultimate device, capable of creating an artificial black hole. No species had ever survived its use. In the Galactic Council chamber, Sheetal received the news with horror. "We must warn Earth. They have no defense against." He stopped mid-sentence, staring at his datapad. Earth was broadcasting on all channels, but they weren't panicking. They were excited. "Did you say artificial black hole?" Dr. Chen's voice carried across space. "We have a whole research team ready for this. We've been theorizing about micro-singularity manipulation since we first saw your energy readings." The Vorkath weapon ship approached Earth, charging its main system. But something was wrong. Their sensors were picking up strange energy patterns from the planet below. "Sir," a Vorkath officer reported, "the humans are singing. They're broadcasting something called the black hole sun on all frequencies. Around Earth's orbit, hundreds of small satellites activated. Humans had spent months placing them there, claiming they were for improved space internet. That wasn't their only purpose. You see," Dr. Chen explained over the open channel, "we figured someone might try using a singularity weapon. It was in all our science fiction stories. So we thought, why not be prepared?" The Vorkath weapon fired. A point of absolute darkness appeared in space, ready to grow and consume its target. But instead of growing, it stayed exactly where it was. Fascinating. Came the broadcast from Earth's science team. "The artificial singularity is responding exactly as our calculations predicted. Is anyone else recording this? This will make an amazing research paper." The satellite network had created what humans called a gravitational guidance system. Instead of letting the black hole grow toward Earth, they were steering it, using principles they had developed while learning to surf gravitational waves. "That's impossible," Cathor shouted. "You can't control a singularity." "Why not?" came the reply. "It's just very dense space-time. Once you understand how to ride space-time waves, directing a black hole is just, well, it's very hard, but definitely possible. Want to see something cool?" The satellite network pulsed. The artificial black hole moved, following a course the humans had prepared. It headed straight for its point of origin, the Vorkath weapon ship. "Don't worry," Earth broadcast to the panicking Vorkath crew. "We've calculated a safe distance. You might want to move back about, let's say 3 light minutes." The Vorkath fleet retreated, watching in disbelief as humans not only controlled their ultimate weapon, but turned it into what they called a fantastic opportunity for practical research. In the council chamber, Sheetal read the latest report with a mix of awe and resignation. They didn't just survive the weapon, he told his colleagues. They turned it into a power source. They're using the controlled singularity to energize their planetary defense grid. The final message from Earth to the Vorkath fleet summed up humanity's unique approach. Thanks for the singularity. We've been wanting to test our theories about black hole manipulation. Would you like a copy of our research results? We're calling it Practical Applications of Microsingularity Control for Beginners. The galaxy learned an important lesson that day. Never use a super weapon against a species that sees it as an exciting research opportunity.